Hey guys, my name is Cidiac and welcome to another experimental video here in City Skylines, where today I'm going to answer the question that nobody asks. I seem to be doing this a lot. I just answer questions nobody wants to know the answer to. And the question we're going to be answering today, that made no sense, is how long can a isolated city of 500 people survive for? Yes, you heard that correct. It's all going to come down to, can they thrive on their own? I know we've done isolated cities in the past, but what I want to do is I want to create a small little community of 500 people, give or take a few extra sims. It depends how many move in and whatnot. And we pretty much are going to give them everything that they need. Healthcare, policing, fire, everything that they could possibly need. And I want to see how long it takes for them to thrive. Now, we're going to go for the process of, we might start initially getting more than 500 move in as soon as we isolate them, because they make babies, people are born, and all that kind of jazz. But there's only so long they can keep doing that before everyone's related, and nobody wants to go down that road, because it's disgusting. So if you do enjoy this episode of this fun little experiment, then please make sure you smash that like button down below. If you are new here, make sure you do subscribe so you're notified that next episode does come out. But we are here right now, and we're going to go... Actually, you know what? There's no point me kind of pausing it. We'll kind of keep a reference of what the date is and all that kind of stuff when we start the experiment. But we're just going to pretty much now set up what is going to be a weird experiment. So if I do a 50 by 50 bend leading in, and that is where our little city or little town, little village will then begin. So I'm not actually sure how big I need to build something like this when it comes to trying to make sure the population is a certain size. I don't know how that's going to work. So that's going to be quite fun. It's going to be quite fun to find out, but, you know, we'll see what happens. So I'm doing a very rough layout, and we'll just kind of go for like a very simplified square town. You know, nothing too fancy, nothing too jazzy, just it does what it needs to do to give us them people. Now, I don't know if that's going to hold 500 people, so that's kind of going to be interesting. So if I bam all that in there, some commercial in there, and I'll fast forward it so we can slowly start getting people moved in. We'll sort out the waterworks right now. All the way up to there, to there, to there, and to there. Oh, hold on, boys, hold on. And to there. And then we'll just get everything that we need to get in. So I think we'll kind of bring it down to here. Throw a little water thing just here. Get some power on the go. And then we need some sewage too. So we need some of those little basins, which I'm thinking I might just do something like this at the top here to drop down that little basin. Where is it? 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 Just here. Boom. And hook that up to the water supply. Do you know what? Looking at this, I'm already nearly at 500 capacity with literally what we've got right now. I might actually have to like switch it up slightly and go for low density residential, because one too many peeps. That is not what your boy was expecting right there, but we go for low density residential. Throw that in, get that building up right now. I get a little bit of industrial over here because it's not going to have too many jobs working around right now. So at least we get this up and running. I'm going to get some more power in so it is kind of all connected. There we go. So got what it needs to get. We'll add in some policing right now. Now we do have the unlimited money mod on, so we haven't got to worry about stuff like paying the bills. We'll get a hospital. No, we're going to get a small little medical centre in. Get the death care in there. It's only going to be like a smallish population anyway. You don't want to go too crazy. And that's now going to slowly build up. So keeping an eye on our population. We're at nearly 300 people right now, which is good to see. Oh, we need garbage. Right, let me sort the garbage out real quick. And right, I'm going to bring that down to there and there. So we got a little bit of an extension that I can place down like something like my incineration plant. And we'll do a little recycling area too, just to kind of bulk up on the garbage need. So literally it's going to be like a little haven, a little paradise that we are now building. So we are now officially at just under, there we go, 400 residents within our little town. So another 100 to go. Now, without, trying to push boundaries, if it goes over 500 by a little bit, then it is what it is at the end of the day. So let's say that 2 of these squares contain 200 people. So if I fill that in, that might be pushing this up then to 600 residents. So I don't think we'll go that far. So we got 518. We could just pretty much call it that. We'll be happy with it. Then all these little gaps left over, we'll do a school. We'll do a high school. We'll do a university's a little bit too big, but I know I got some of the modded stuff that gives us like a. Is that a university? I mean, like something like this, which is a university there, but it's quite big. But I'll throw it in just because it kind of fits in. Do you know what? No. Let's just keep it plain and simple, boys. Let's just go for a normal university. Why not? Why not just push the boat out like that? So we give them everything that they could possibly have to currently thrive. So we've got all the services. We've got the education right now. We'll squeeze in some leisure stuff to keep them pretty happy. So we'll go with... That's a bit too big. Too big. Way too big. Right. Drop that in. Might just drop that in just there. A little bit of leisure stuff right now. We'll get in these little merry-go-rounds because they always seem to love those little carousels. We'll get in another large, well, slightly larger park there to provide all the leisure around. And are we kind of missing anything right now? I mean, I could throw public transport in, but there's not really any point because everything's within walking distance. So that's kind of okay. And we're pushing 600 people right now, which is kind of crazy. I don't feel like we need to go any further at the minute. Because I do want to keep it to like round about the 500 mark, give or take a few peeps. Oh, what I could add in is the elder care, which I'll squeeze in just over here, and the child care, which we'll throw in just there. That will hopefully aid us to, produce more children and look at the average health now shooting up, and then make people live a little bit longer as well. So we've got everything that we potentially need right now. Let me bring up the statistics here. Electricity is dropping down dramatically. Do we need to get another one of these in? Right, get another few of those in there. Garbage is okay, sewage is okay, water okay, electricity is okay. It's all okay. Unemployment is 1%, so there's plenty of jobs available. Plenty of jobs. I'll squeeze 1 or 2 more in, like a little bit there. I'll squeeze in a little bit more industrial, and we'll throw in a bunch of offices over there. And a bunch of offices in here. Whether or not they work in those buildings, I don't know, but the offer is there if they choose it. So, right, I originally said I wanted 500, but I'll take 600 at this point. I'll take 600 at this point. So if we now pause it, right, if I get it just right, I'm waiting for the end of the month. Is there 31 days in the month of May? I believe there is. I should know, I was born in May. So I'll get to the 1st of June in game. Let me just wait for it right now. Hold on. 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 31. Bam. It's the 1st of June. So then we delete the road. So we're literally 6 months in to the year 2022. Let's see how long these guys can survive for on a population of 600. So we're into play mode, and we just initially just see what happens. They can't go anywhere, they cannot do anything, and at the minute we're seeing a positive change and a positive increase in population. What I'll do as well, I'll build a few more houses, because you could then argue they need those additional houses to be able to move into. So I'm going to place it there, even though nobody can actually enter the area, because, isolated. At least those people can move out into their own new family homes and try and start their own families and all that kind of good stuff. So see what happens. I suppose we just see what happens at this point. So we can see that we have the population increasing over here. Where's the one where we see our births and stuff like that? Is it here? Yeah, there's 5 births a week, no deaths at the moment. But so far, only 10% of our population is seniors. So at this moment in time right now, we've got 650 people living in our small little town. And it's kind of fluctuating a little bit. It's going up, it's going down a little bit, but on the most part, it's slightly going up. But now we're officially starting seeing issues. There's not enough customers for some of the stores. There's not enough workers because a lot of people are going to choose to go to education and stuff like that. So we can't really do much about it. And we're actually slowly pushing up to 700 residents. Now, all my stuff that I need is looking pretty good. So I'm going to throw anything additional into it. We should be slowly increasing children right there. So as long as we consistently get them children coming in, they'll eventually go for the stage of being teens, adults, blah, 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 blah. But that will obviously be the cycle of evolution of life. I don't know what I'm saying. But as long as you're getting children being born, they'll go for the process like this. So we got a healthy number of children coming in. It's slowly increasing to the point where we are closing up on 700 residents in this isolated town right now. So this is good. This is actually good. They've already survived 4 months. And they're not just surviving, they're thriving. And some of those commercial buildings have stopped complaining as well. Now, some of these houses here have only got 1 household living in them, which I still find that quite hilarious. Right now. So shall we drop down some high density residential where that could potentially be multiple occupancy? Let's just see how that rolls out then, because we still have that residential demand, even though they're not going to use it, but it allows them to kind of move into these big apartment buildings that can house up to 10 households and, you know, eventually have children and all that kind of jazz. But this is interesting, guys. This is definitely interesting. We're not really seeing any demise as of right now. We've no outside connection. Now, we've done this before in the past, but we've kind of utilized everything to try and keep them surviving. But this is a different kind of experiment altogether. This is just seeing how long they can survive for with no intervention, me not doing anything to kind of aid their survival. Obviously, apart from building more additional residential buildings, but not like providing anything that could keep them alive. It's all down to them. So we did have over like 70 children. We're now down to mid-60s. Is this the start of the turn? I don't know. When it comes to our percentages, 12% now are seniors, so they are slightly getting older. But more importantly, the elder care, they're living to the ripe old age at the minute of 70 years old. Childcare, there's 5 births a week. That is also helping us and aiding us with giving us more people living here. We're up to 730. So now the children is dropping down to the 40s. Now this, guys, believe it or not, is the decline. It might not feel like it because we're still growing in population. But once the children being born there stops, then we have less teenagers, less adults, and then the population dies out. It's kind of crazy, isn't it? Because if you think about it, we're all isolated in the real world. We are all isolated. There's no different from this experiment to real life. And you could say, well, yeah, you could go to different countries and different continents and stuff like that. But as a whole, we are isolated. And the species, is able to thrive on an isolated planet. So you got to picture this as being the isolated planet, and this is how it goes. I don't know. I just don't know. But now we're into the 30s with the children. So have you noticed we haven't been able to get to 740 population? We've been stuck in the 730s for quite some time. This is the demise about to happen right in front of our eyes. That kind of rhymed, didn't it? It kind of rhymed. So 16% seniors right now. Very interesting. I think, you know what, we might actually... 740. Look at that. It's having that final resurgence before it all goes kaput. It really is. How many births do we get in a week? I didn't quite catch that. No deaths. No one's died yet. No one's lived a full lifetime in this city. But we're coming up to... There we go, 1 death. We're coming up now then to not far off being 1 year in the city in the game time. So this is going to be really interesting. We just leave it to do what it's got to do. Remember the demise we were talking about? Well, it's now happening right in front of our eyes. We're now below 700 population, which is kind of crazy. So in the matter of 1 year and 3 months in game time, it's happening. It's happening. And you could argue, well, Seniac, why don't you build more residential so those babies can be born? Well, it's the same kind of case right now. As the people die out and the housing becomes available, then people have the option to move into this one. There's no one living here, so they could move in. But it's just that old kind of thingy. Like, 2 people, if they have 1 child, that 2 people has now become 1. Those 2 people need to have 2 children to keep the population even, or those 2 people need to have 3 children to then increase the population by 1. So, and some of these people won't even have children, so it doesn't bode well, does it? We need like people to be having like 10 children, but then, whew, the hospital's gonna be very busy. But as of right now, we have 35 in the 30s, low 30s, children being born. The majority of our population, the highest category is the seniors. So, and that is nearly 40% of our whole population. But then we have a nice resurgence there of young adults. Big population just there. So once the seniors are gone, get them out of here. We'll see what changes then come above it. So 3 births a week. People are living to the ripe old age of 79. So we've increased the lifespan by 9 years. Just by literally doing nothing, which is good to see. And the births per deaths, we still got more births than deaths, but we have a little kind of wave where a lot of them just die out all in one go. Now we're into the 500s in terms of our population. Ooh. Is this gonna last? I don't know. I can't promise anything, but the elementary schools, 26 students. The high school, 58 students. The university, 25 students right now. So people are being educated. No patients in the medical clinic. Interesting. No fire engines in use. 4 criminals in the cell. Wow. I mean, this whole place is a prison. They don't need to go into a prison within the prison. And then the crematorium is slowly going to start getting used up. Oh my. This is going to be very interesting. So now we're into low 20s, early teens there in terms of the numbers of children now around. It's not looking good. But if we go and view the city statistics and the population change, you can see how shot up. And it was considerably growing, and then we kind of reached the peninsula, and now it's going down. We will have little moments where it does shoot back up and then come back down again. The birth rate you can see right there, but then the most interesting one is the death rate now really starting to increase. There's no influx in people because, you know, we are isolated right now, but that's going to be an interesting one to keep our eyes on. It really is. So back to the game then. We're coming up to nearly 2 years in game time, and people are still rocking and rolling. Now what interests me is, even though people could live for, the average age is 79 years in the game, they don't actually live for 79 years in game time. Like, a lot of them have had their lifetime in the matter of almost 2 years in game time. So that's very interesting. Literally towards the bottom of the 300 mark, about to progress into the 200s. 200s. And, I mean, visually, it still looks about the same. Is there a lot of buildings that don't contain any residents? There's a couple that don't contain any residents right now. There is a couple here, there, and everywhere. But in the statistics, you can see, oh my goodness, we had a big population change down there. Damn, with a big drop there, it came back up. So that might be, the way it's going back up again, it's like this. Big drop, then back up. Drop, and then big drop, and then back up. So the death rate, does that kind of coincide? Oh my goodness me, there was a huge death rate here. I say a huge one, of 6 people. Wow. Birth rate is still all over the place, but it's ultimately slowly coming down, which is kind of crazy. We have, yeah, like I said, it's actually going up a little bit right now. So we kind of, after that drop, we're seeing a little bit of an increase. We are nearly 4 years into the experiment in game time, which is kind of interesting to see. And apparently we still got 1 weekly tourist. We must have a tourist here who's completely trapped. You can't go home. And then if I check out the other statistics as well, 20% is seniors, 60% is children. We're in 1 birth to 0 deaths a week here and there. In terms of the elder care, still 79 years they're living to. You know, we're trying to aid the births, but not really much is happening. But we are now currently at, right, nearly 4 years in game time, and we've only really halved the population. So if you think about it that way, technically it should take another 4 years in game time to drop the same amount of people. But we'll just see what happens. Almost another year has passed since we halved the population, and now we're down to 123. I think it's now dropping a whole lot quicker the smaller the population now becomes. We've got entirely 50 children, 14 seniors, so the oldest are now dying out, but it's not looking good numbers. Look at that. Oh, we might actually start dropping below 100 very soon. We've got 106, 107 population at the moment. Interesting. Now I gotta check out those city statistics right now, because I know they're not going to be too good. So oh my god. So where it originally picked back up, it dropped down, staggered. It got to here where it plateaued for a little while, and then we lost so many more people, and then we started to grow again. I wonder what that issue was then. Because I've been watching it for quite some time, watching it dip down, and I don't recall seeing a dramatic drop like that. But maybe them drops are now going to get bigger and bigger as the population gets smaller and smaller, because it can't, reap the benefits of people being born all over again. That's interesting. In terms of the births, so we had nearly a birth to a death a week right there. We don't really seem to be getting as many deaths. They come thick and fast. And have just waves of them, which is really interesting to see. But these numbers don't really mean anything anymore. It's more these numbers we're taking a look at right now. 15 children currently here, which will eventually go through the full life cycle. But we are knocking on double digits door right now. We really are, which is kind of crazy. I've been watching the buildings change a lot. We did have some big skyscrapers up the back here where we got the high density residential. There has now seemed to have gone. So, hasta la vista, baby. Is there people even living in these? There's one household. I think, like, could you imagine having one household in that huge apartment block? They'll be living like kings. King of the castle. King of the castle. Wow, wow, wee, wow. But yeah, I think we found another plateau again right now. This has got to be another plateau, right? See the statistics? Yeah. So we had that plateau before. Then it dropped. Creep back up. Then we got another plateau. So, if it continues the same path, we might experience another death wave soon. But it can't be that much, because we only got 14. But 14 people to, this population. What? Okay, I think we just seen the drop where 14 people just died. Was that all of these seniors? We're now into the 85s. Oh my good God. Is that the drop that we were seeing last time? Okay, it hasn't registered on the actual graph there. Holy moly, did we just see that happen right in front of our faces? We lost like 30 people. Damn, boy, that was crazy. That was a lot of people right there, wasn't it? 83. Holy smokes. Holy smokes right there. That's got I've now registered on this little statistics. Yeah, it's not as big as a drop there, but we might have another little plateau again. It might grow a bit, plateau, drop again. But damn, did we just see that happen right in front of our faces. It was beautiful, and all at the same time, quite emotional, isn't it? There's going to come to a point, right, where, and I don't know, I can't even see what I'm doing right now. I don't know if you can see how many people are working here, but there's going to be a point where the population's that low, with all the jobs and stuff that they can do, the service buildings are going to have no employees. Thus, there will be no police coverage. no garbage disposal, no teachers in the schools and universities. There's still quite a few people going to education, which is kind of crazy. But that 300 population, we only have 50 people remaining in this little city, which is, it's quite shocking, isn't it? It is. I mean, there's got to be a lot about the zero. No people living there. No people living there. One there. No one there. No one there. No one there. No one there. There's only one person living in that little street there, which is kind of crazy. We've got 5 children, 4 right now, so the population is still dipping. We've got quite a few teens, so we still got quite some time to go, but the commercial is screaming out for workers and shoppers right now, which is unbelievable. The streets look very quiet, don't they? They do look very quiet, but we're not far off right now to the point where there is no return, where there is going to be no new people being born. And again, back to the city statistics, we've dropped a bit more, and we just plateaued. We've grown a bit, but then it's dropped a tad bit more. But we're on that little bit of a plateau again. This has been a longer plateau than any of the other ones, so I'm not too sure how this is now going to turn around. If it can turn around, if it's going to have a resurgence, if we're going to come back from the dead, if it's going to completely die out, I don't know. But that initial plateau is looking quite promising for a return. But we all know that's not going to happen. It's not within the game's physics to keep a isolated city alive. So it'll just literally be very, very interesting to see how it all now plays out. We're now into the 40s. We're in that awkward stage right now where, you know, houses die out and then they try and rebuild, but there's no one left to kind of fill them right now. 18 population. I thought we were going to have a resurgence, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. We have no teens, 4 children, 1 young adult, 12 adults. So they're the ones that are going to repopulate this little city again. But it ended up happening. That little plateau, it wasn't a plateau. It was a slow curve, as you can now see go down. Another bit of a dip and it pops back up again. But we're like a bouncy ball right now as it kind of goes down and loses its momentum. 16 people now remain, and we're coming up to what is... I've already lost track of where we are right now. We're on our 7th year in game time. Almost at that point. And where I thought it might take like literally 2 years or 4 years to lose another half, it's actually, we are on track to being 4 years to having 0 population. Like 4 years was half, another 4 years was the other half. So it's taken 8, I reckon it's going to take 8 years before we've got nobody left right now. So we've got 1 child, but 3 of them have just become teens. 2 seniors are the adults. When them 9 adults die out, we ain't got many adults remaining. There's going to be 1 sole dude left alone in this little city. There really is. Anyone in jail? Do you know what? That's 16 people. 2 of them are in jail right now. Think about that. Could you imagine if they're in jail, but there's nobody who works in the police station anymore, so they're literally stuck in jail and they ain't getting out? That would kind of be funny, wouldn't it? University, there's nobody there. School, there's 1 student. There's 4 students. So 6 people, 4 students, 2 are in jail, and then there's 10 people just roaming about in the city as normal. It does look like a freaking ghost town at this point. There is somebody over here. Let me pause. Who are you? You're unemployed and going home. If you're unemployed and going home, where was you? Shouldn't you already been at home? Oh my goodness me. Oh my goodness me. It now just comes down to how long does it take for 16 people to die out? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Oh my goodness me. There's 1 person living there. And that's it. Them houses are literally all empty. More commercial buildings are trying to be built. 1 person there, no one there. Oh my goodness me, guys. Oh my goodness me. There's now 11 people remaining. And there's no children. This is game over for this little city right now, this little town. This is officially game over. I don't see how anybody or there's any way. We're now just over 6 months away in game time from our original start point of 8 years ago, and we have 5 people remaining in the city. 1 teen, 1 young adult, 2 adults, and 1 senior. No children. No new people being born right now. Wow. Absolutely wow. Did it just shift the stuff? I don't know whether that counts to people dying or being born or whatnot. No idea, but there's now only 4 people remaining. 3 people remaining. Could you imagine living in this town where at one point there was like, it got up to 600 people. Started with 500, went up to 600. It's now only being 3 people. This must feel so quiet. This place must feel so freaking quiet right now. There is more garbage trucks at the moment than people. Which is still kind of crazy. So, as we're only 3 months away, can we all just agree it took 8 years in game time for a 500 population city to die out? I mean, oh my goodness me, it is kind of ridiculous, boys. It is low-key kind of ridiculous. So, damn, boys. I still can't get over it. 3 years, no, not 3 years, 8 years it taken. 8 years it taken to kill a city. Well, that's how long it survives. Now, I would say the bigger the city, the longer it takes, because there's more people to kind of reproduce and kind of sustain that population a little bit longer. If we check out the city statistics in terms of the population changes, we had the 500 around here. As you can see, it grew, it reached its peak, and it's been downhill ever since. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. So should we try and bring some life back into this place? Let's try and do it. So if I just kind of go shabam like this. Let's bring some life back into it, guys. The answer is 8 years. Thanks for watching this long, guys. But as the population now reclines back and those 3 people are like, oh my god, humans, we say goodbye to another pointless experimental video. Guys, I hope you did enjoy this one. If you did, smash that like button down below, and until next time, I'll see you all soon. So, goodbye.